That's recording.
Good.
Hey, hello everyone. I just want to, I don't know if you recognize me and the fellow board members. My name is Marlene. I'm secretary of on the board with WASM. Just going to start the AGM. Just want to welcome. Thank you for taking the time out this morning to coming. I really appreciate joining in, and this is a really important AGM. As you're going to see here from the president shortly, that we're in a state of crisis where unfortunately everyone else with COVID, a lot of organized with this AGM that we will have some of those concerns addressed and tackled with that. That being said, I do ask, and I want to make sure that with this meeting, just to, again, please feel free to ask questions. Just want to give a heads up that in terms of the meeting itself, I'll be taking minutes. It is being recorded, and that will be definitely distributed for information purposes. Okay. With no further ado, I'm going to hand it over to the president, Miranda Castravelli.
Thank you, Marlene. Yeah, let me just add that if you don't want, this won't be edited. It will be posted on the website for all of the members to see uncut. So if you don't wish to be on camera, please turn off your cameras now. Please also mute yourselves or keep yourselves muted unless you are called upon to ask a question. In terms of handling the question and answer period, I think we will hold it till everyone on the board has spoken. So we will go in this fashion. I am going to tell you a little bit about where we're at. I'm going to show you the financial report because of course we don't have a treasurer anymore. And then each of the current board members who are staying on will have their say. And then after that, we'll open it for a question and answer period. As soon as we, and then we will, like at 11:45, we will stop any Q&A. We'll take a vote officially for those people who need to be confirmed, anybody who might want to volunteer for any open positions, and anybody who is, of course, renewing this year or changing positions. And after that, if people still have questions, we'll resume the Q&A. And that's how it should go today. So again, let me thank you also very much for coming. I think most of you who are on here know me. I'm looking through the list really quick. I don't see anybody I don't recognize, but just in case, for the recording, my name is Miranda Castravelli. I'm the outgoing president of the Women's Art Society. I've been president since 2018. It has been a very interesting 5 years, I must say. It's had some highs, it's had some lows, and I actually haven't prepared an official speech for you today because, as Marlene has said, we are in a state of crisis, and I want to speak to you from the heart and tell you a little bit about the historic and how we got here and the things we've achieved and the things I think could still be achieved. So while I'm stepping down as president, I fully intend that if the organization continues, I will remain a member, just like everybody else. And stay on board and appreciate all of the things that WASM has to offer. So let me take it back to 2018 when I first stepped on. You know, any organization that is as old as the WASM is going to have highs and lows. In the early days, there were highs, and then there were lows, you know, when the war hit. And then there were highs in the 60s, 70s, and 80s as the arts and craft movement grew. And then there were dips as women started to go to work because there weren't as many people to run the association. And then there was a high again in the 80s when we had a very strong president who thankfully is still with us as a member. And she was president for, you know, 13 years, but not in a row, sort of off and on, 3 years, then off, then co-president and so on. It's a model I think you guys should look at because it doesn't necessarily have to be one person alone. In the 5 years I've been here, when I came in was sort of a bit of a lull in the organization. There were not that many people available who were not working. who were on the board, and the president at the time had a different vision of what the organization was. She thought it should be a more informal kind of hobby organization where people just got together and did art together. And, you know, it is a point of view. And for some, that's completely valid. My point of view was not that. And I was very fortunate at that time that the board members who had stayed on were fighters too, and who wanted something more for the organization. So we had spent that first year working like crazy, rebuilding everything, and we were in very good shape. By the end of 2019, we had gone from 70 members to almost 200. And we had already done partnerships with the Shriners. We had done incredible cultural outings for people. The quality of the lectures had started to improve. We were poised to do a massive international fundraiser for Lawyers Without Borders. And then the pandemic hit. And it was very obvious very quickly that the model that we had wasn't going to work because everything in person was canceled and everybody was scrambling. So we pivoted pretty quickly and we managed to move all of our lectures. We never missed a single lecture. And we moved everything online. Of course, the art show did suffer that first year. We did end up having to postpone, but I will say that the art chairperson, who was Deanne at the time, and you know, the people helping her never let go, fought like heck to get that thing done. And we were one of the first to be able to have a full art show when things reopened. Was it perfect? I mean, what is ever perfect? I mean, was it up to all of our standards? No, but we certainly worked very hard and I never had anything to complain about with the board members who were with me. During the pandemic, things changed. And we thought, oh God, we're not going to be able to sustain this. But actually, to our surprise, the organization continued to grow. People were contributing, you know, we're donating money, we're joining from all over Canada, we're attending things online, whatever we had featured online, other programs that we had started, things like the Legacy Project. Everybody was actually quite involved and the membership just continued to grow to about over 350. But with that, some of the older members who had been with us for a while, because of their financial situation during the pandemic, were not able to pay. And even so, the goal of a board member, of course, is to fulfill their role, but these are all volunteer posts, right? They always have been. That is a model that is difficult for many people because it means that they have to balance their personal life with what was essentially now a very professional organization that became a full-time job. It's a tough thing to ask somebody to put aside their family, their friends, their weekends, their evenings, on an ongoing basis to be able to support a professional level organization. And it quickly became apparent that not only was the model of funding something of this size through membership fees only, and also through volunteer time only, was not going to be feasible. But we were managing during the pandemic because most people were working from home. And then there was 2022. So everything, fortunately for society, things started to go back to a new normal. Unfortunately for the WASM, what that meant is that everybody was readjusting. Everybody was trying to figure out how to balance their hybrid roles, how to balance their families. We did have a lot of people with a lot of energy at last year's AGM who came on board with really good intentions. But unfortunately, there was not a whole lot of follow through in a lot of instances, not necessarily through any fault of their own. You cannot tell somebody as a president, hey, ignore your sick child and come and do WASM stuff. You can't tell somebody as a president, I don't care if your friend has cancer, WASM is important. It's not possible. People make allowances for their full-time jobs, but you have, like, one has to be understanding of the fact that volunteer work, while still work and still a commitment to others, is always going to be second to making a living and your own family initiatives. So we wanted to change from a membership-driven model to a funded model, much like every other organization that has managed to survive. So if you look even at from large to small, all of the arts organizations that do survive, all survive on government's grants these days. It's a combination of government grants and private funding. And it's not like small donations here and there, although those always help. So any money helps. But it's more like large scale donations of foundations that get to know you and get to know that you're doing good things. The first step towards that, of course, was achieving the charity number, which we did last year. As you guys know, it was just before the last AGM that came through. And we were poised to be able to put together a fundraising committee. But as I said, with people going back to work, unfortunately, there was just not enough energy to run the day-to-day and also do the fundraising. It just didn't happen. We tried, we had many meetings, but it just couldn't materialize because people just didn't have the time to do the legwork. So we made a decision as a board at that time that whatever money we had within the bank account was going to go in service to the organization, because what's the point of sitting on a bank account that's doing nothing while the organization is dying? And we were going to pay for the services that we could. So we are no longer a fully free model, or we haven't been this year. We have been paying for technical services. We have been paying for certain things, posters, outside suppliers. We no longer do things like asking people to bring food. We've, things that are obviously very hard to coordinate and very time consuming, we've had to off-put. So because of all of these things, we have at this point, and I will show you in a moment, basically run to the end of what WASM's finances are with what we collect. And I will show you the spreadsheet in a moment, but I will also say that unfortunately the treasurer has had personal issues throughout this year. And while she had great intentions, unfortunately, she was not able to prepare the yearly statement for this AGM. What we do have is a list of the expenses that are going to bring you to the end of the season, and what we have in the bank account to offset that. And you guys will see that there's actually a shortfall this year. So I'll go through that in more detail in a moment. But so this sounds like doom and gloom. And the truth is, it is important. It is a dire situation. Is it impossible to overcome? No, it's not impossible to overcome. Now, for those of you who have been following the newsletter, you know that we've been asking for volunteers, right? And there has been quite a lot of turnover. And you should know that, of course, having a volunteer just say, yes, I'd like to do it, doesn't necessarily mean that A, they understand what that entails and the amount of work involved. And B, there's a kind of a lead time, even if they're amazing and they're very, very qualified, there's a lead time to get somebody up to speed always. And that requires somebody's time investment to be able to go and teach them to do that. But are these things impossible? No. You guys have Marlene, you have Joanne, you have Linda, and you have Marie-Josée, who are still staying on and fighting on. And these people are here to help guide anybody else who might think that the organization that is almost 130 years old is worth saving. But it requires you guys to pitch in. In the last 6 months, we have put in so many ads and asked for help, but nobody has responded at all. There are just no responses. So what's ended up happening, of course, is that whenever somebody leaves, that work falls onto the rest of us. And the rest of us, it's kind of like a crumbling inverted pyramid. At some point in time, the few people cannot support the weight of the entire organization. But if you guys think it is worthwhile and you think it is worth saving, then you have the opportunity here to step into whatever roles you want. Having said that, that is all I really have to say today. This is where we're at. But there is hope for the future. The charity number is still there. We will do what we have to do to close out the books and close things out cleanly. We need your help. We need your help to step forward, to be able to get engaged. And I realize that some of you have already served on the board many, many, many years. It is, but it is what it is. And if there is no energy, and if the WASM has outworn its model, that's a decision the membership will have to make. But this is where we are. I think it's worth saving. And let me close out by saying why I think the arts are important. My vision for this organization was always that the arts elevate. They change the minds and hearts of everybody who they're touched by. One of the main things that we had to do when we had to prove that we were charitable was exactly that we provide a benefit to society. And I firmly believe that art can do that in a million different ways, whether we use our art to make money for a worthy cause, whether we use our art for political statements, whether we use our art just to look beautiful and to give somebody a change of scenery, whether we invite lecturers who have different ideas, and it inspires us to do something else, to think about something else, to get out of our headspace. Even if we talk about the mental health benefits of producing art, being surrounded by art, art is a valuable piece of society. I've always believed that, and I've always believed that the WASM, as the oldest art organization in Montreal, is really well poised to make that statement at a governmental level, where artists are recognized as being valuable contributing members, just like every other sector of society. There is no other sector that people are expected to just work for the passion. Imagine asking your plumber to work for the passion. It clearly isn't the case. We don't do that anywhere else, but for some reason, the arts seem to be this thing that is dismissed as only a hobby, is dismissed as not essential, and I don't agree. And I hope that you don't agree as well, that art is essential. It is essential to human well-being. People have created art since the dawn of time. And I hope that the organization continues to stay, along with, that sort of goal in mind, that no matter where an artist is in their career, they can find a place at the WASM to be supported. And if you are not an artist yourself, you can find a place to get inspired and to help inspire others, or to find a change from your day-to-day life. Art can do so many things. So that's all I really have to say to you guys today, before I get into the details of the finances, is to consider donating your time. It is a commitment. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of work. But if you put yourselves you are well positioned to take what we have built up to now and take it to the next level of fundraising, get people paid, make people have a board that is paid, that reports to the membership. You can do that. You can still have your say as a member, but you don't have to have people who are upsetting in their own lives to be able to support the rest of the group. And you can see that by the participation today, out of 350 something members that are on our books, only, minus the board, only about 15 people have shown up today. And I'm very grateful that you have. But it's sort of indicative, right? Yeah. Of how little people want to get involved. And maybe it is a sign of our times, but maybe not. Maybe this is just the time to fight. So without anything else, I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to show you the expenses for the rest of the year. And then I'm going to show you the open positions. I think that will give you an indication of where we're kind of at. So yeah, let me start with the open positions, since this is the page that's already open. Can everybody see this? Yep. Okay. As you can see, the president's seat is now open. Joanne has been, we hope to confirm her as vice president at the end of today. The treasurer is open. Now that Joanne is vice president, the art exhibit chairperson. Now Joanne is going to run that still this year, even in her new position. But eventually, if you continue, she can't do everything. So hospitality is open, charity is open, communication is open, fundraising is open. And even in the support staff, we no longer have a coordinator. We no longer have an IT person, and we no longer have somebody doing video editing and all of those things, like capturing photos at events and all of those things that John used to do. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have the time anymore. So as you will note, over the course of the year, one by one, most of these people have stepped down. We had announced all of that in the newsletters, as they happened, all except for, I guess, Marie-Josée, who's changed positions. I think we didn't get to actually announce that before today, because the decision was just made this week. But that means membership. We had canceled membership because we had decided last year that most of it is online and automated now, so it could be handled by Angela, who is the technical coordinator, of course, as you see her here today. So you can see, though, that with all of these positions that are currently needed, and in my opinion, you could probably use a couple more. That's going to be up to the new board to decide what you need and what you don't need. You could probably use a couple more people in a couple more places. You've only got 4 board members and 2 support staff. That's not enough to sustain the organization as it currently is. You have the options to step up, of course, and see otherwise, the organization is going to have to either fold completely or become something much smaller than what it has been in the last few years. And lastly, let me take you through the expenses as we know them. So here is what is left to pay for this season. And I should say, the organization is committed to seeing the art show through and all of the commitments and the lectures to the end of the season in as much as possible. So Dina Appel had a $300 prize. She still has $170 left to claim from last year. The auditorium for March 21st is $300. That has passed, of course. We also have one more live lecture on the 11th, which is another $300 for the Atwater Library. The lecture fees, the lecturers get paid $150 each time, so it's $300, of course, for those two. When last week, the fundraiser 2 weeks ago made $1,500, so we are keeping a third, and and 2/3 are going back to the Old Brewery Mission, as we had said and agreed upon. So we still have $1,000 to pay to them. The gallery Agora, we have paid part of the fee. This is what is remaining. This includes all of the taxes and all of the rentals of the equipment and the wine for that night, but it does not include hanging fees. Sorry, not hanging fees, pardon me. Hanging committee. Like usually we hire somebody so that it is impartial, but it does not include the person who we usually have to come help from the outside. In this case, though, the gallery is going to take care of it. It does not include any other incidentals. It does not include judges, who we normally pay $150 each for. They are working hard to try to find some of our old judges who might be willing, on love of the WASM, to come back for free this year. And it does not include any art show prizes. Again, Joanne is working really, really hard to try to find sponsors and donors to be able to give prizes to the artists this year, but we can't promise that that's going to happen. We're doing our best, or they're doing their best, because of course, as you all know, today is my last day. We've done our best up to now, let's put it that way. And the rest of the team is there in support, by the way. I say, you know, Joanne is the leader of the art show, but the rest of the team is there to support her, and everybody's working very, very hard. Julia Pomeroy was last year's winner. She still has not collected her prize. So that's sort of still on the books as something that needs to be paid. The lecturers for the last two lectures are currently at $300, but there is a good chance that because one of our members, the member lecture, will probably be canceled. So this might go down to 150. And Casey and Angela are our two helpers, as I have, as you mostly know. It is things like maintaining the website, answering calls, making sure that when a payment on the website goes through, it's actually channeled properly, hosting the lectures like Angela is doing right now, setting that up, all of those things in the background. You know, the girls, it actually says 8 weeks, but we're at 4 weeks at this point because the lectures finished before the art show. So this is actually, the correct number is 800. This is incorrect here. Sorry, I forgot to change that. The Zoom, of course, costs $20 a month. So of course, for 2 months left for the season, it's $40. The website costs $35 a month. So US dollars. So it comes out to roughly 50-ish. It's like $48.97 per month. And the Wix payments, the ability to pay on the website, unfortunately, costs us $20 a month. But because most people pay that way, it's still better than the mailbox, which costs $180 a year. And we have only received 2 checks. Now, if you kind of do the balancing, it's $65 for membership. That doesn't even cover the cost of the mailbox. So this is why we have decided to eliminate the PO box this year. And we are going to have to hire an accountant if we cannot. We're asking desperately for volunteers of somebody who might donate their time to help do the books this year. There is the reconciliation from last year to do, and then there will be whatever is left in 2023. These things will have to be done in a clean and audited fashion because we are a charity, so we have to report those numbers publicly. So we will have to have somebody who has accounting experience. As I said, we are looking for a volunteer, but we do not have one yet. So all of that brings us to a total of $6,410. That is sort of the bare minimum of what we need to close out the season. And here is what we have in the bank. So the GIC, unfortunately, lost money this year. Last year it was at $2,500. This year we were hoping that it would grow, but it did not. So it lost money. It's only at 2,000. So we will have to cash it in to make some of this payment. And the bank balance currently stands at 34.39. So if you subtract these things, the shortfall is $961. That brings us to the bare bones for the end of the season. So of course, we'll take donations, but I will let you guys organize that with Joanne and Marlene, who is stepping in as acting treasurer currently, and work it out amongst yourselves to see how that's going to work. And, I will do my best to help support as a member. But at this point, my other job concerns pull me away from the WASM. So aside from answering questions at the end, that's kind of all I have to say to you today. Now, $961 is not amazing, but it's also not the end of the world. If we were to split up this number between all of us, I mean, even just the 20 of us who are here today, it comes out to $10 each. I don't know, my math might be off. Somebody else has to do the math for me, but anyway, not very much is the point. So hopefully $50 each, I guess, is what it comes out to roughly. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to pledge $50 of my own money to help cover this. So, but whatever everybody else can afford is up to you. And so that's all I kind of have to say to you today. So at this point, I am now officially stepping down as president. It has been my pleasure and my honor to serve. I have really enjoyed working with all of the boards I've had over the last 5 years. There have been some incredible women, some inspiring people, hard workers, impressive presenters, speakers, incredibly generous spirits. I have nothing bad to say about anybody. I know that life sometimes throws us curveballs, but it is, it has still been a beautiful thing to be part of something that is as inspiring as the WASM is. And I thank you all for having me for as long as you have. And I hope I'll see you around at the art show or at other places. Thank you, everyone. Joanne, if you want to take it from here.
Well, there's not much I can add. You've covered everything. But I agree, art is very important to everybody and has an impact at so many levels. And we have to do our best to save WASM. Even if it goes into a temporary dormant stage until we can get things together, we might have a chance to accomplish something. Casey and Angela have already submitted some names of people who are volunteers. I guess they're students, friends or something. So I haven't seen their CVs and I don't know in what capacity they can help, but we'll find something for sure. And well, again, it's very, it would be a pity if WASM if we have to close up shop completely. We have to do everything we can to save WASM. That's all I can say for now. I'm going to be there and I'll do my best.
I just want to add and thank you, Miranda. Thank you for, I think in terms of the accomplishments, and we need to make use of that charity number. In all honesty, that's a big coup. That's a big thing, and it's hard. And so we got it. So I myself would like to see it through. That's why I'm on. I like a challenge. So this is definitely a challenge, just to say the least. But again, Joanne, Linda, Marie-Josée, and myself cannot do it alone. So this is really, I'm asking for volunteers to step up, to please, if you want to see this move forward, really need you to step in now and help us carry it through, to the point of getting those fundraisers going. That's the whole idea with this, is making sure that we're able to carry through. Again, as we've seen, is that membership alone will not carry. So we got to, again, plan and see what the big picture is. But we do need help. We are here, we are passionate. But again, we can't do everything for ourselves. And we need you to really come out And if you want to see this go forward, we really need, when it comes time for, to nominate, please, please, please consider that. I myself would like to stay on in terms of, again, in terms of secretary. And one of the main things like to carry through is, of course, seeing that fundraising, but the other aspect is equity, diversity, and inclusion, right? To really bring us forward. We have our values, we have our mission statement, we have our ethics that are in place, but really like to bring that policy through. It is a sign of the times, how everything is and how everything functions. And just in getting us to those fundraising opportunities, I think that's where we really need to go and be. With that being said, I don't know if Linda has anything to add, or Marie-Josée.
Yeah, my intention is to stay on as well. My interest and my passion for education is lifelong, I guess. And I think that the linking the practice of art and in any way to the protective, as a protective for mental health, I think that's an avenue that we need to explore. So maybe in terms of fundraising, who has contacts for fundraising, if they could make that link with organizations that are involved in, supporting for mental health, like I think the arts it can be a really significant contributor. So that's I think that might be an avenue for us to, have contacts that could be beneficial both ways, doing good and then having organizations that might be able to financially help us out too, So that would be an interesting thing, but I'm staying on. I'm hoping that if we can get some people who have contacts, you need people who have contacts to raise money. That's the thing. So if we can get some people who have contacts to help us raise money to keep this going. But the other thing is that the more people volunteer, the lighter the work will be. If we get lots of people to work together, it won't be a full-time job for each one of us. It won't. It's a full-time job for the people that are there now because there's not enough of us. That's the problem. So pitch in, put your name in the hat. Well, we like to share. We like to share. We need to share. And if more of you join up, then, we can all do this at a pace that is reasonable for everybody. None of us are in this for a full-time job, whether you have a career or you're a retired person. Well, you're retired for a reason. You want to do interesting work, but more hands required to share the work.
For sure. I think going back to what Marie-Josée was saying, what Miranda was saying is honestly, for a group of strong, tough women, and this is, I believe completely, this is not, we're not down and out, I think we can definitely turn this around, but we need help. We definitely need the help.
Yeah.
I refuse to let us go down this. We have come too far. We have come too far. And thank you, Miranda. Thank you for taking us to that point. But again, it is, as Marie-Josée said, we are taking on multiple hats, and we're not maximizing where our expertise can be at the point, because of the situation. So
I agree.
right, like Joanne and I.
Yeah, well, one day at a time. We take it one day at a time, Marlene. That's the secret of staying on for now. For now. But
Exactly.
we badly need a treasurer. The treasurer is a very important, and you
Yes.
agree, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yes,
A
it's
president, well, filling in for Miranda will be an extremely difficult task.
but we'll
Finding
support.
somebody will be a
But
difficult
we
task.
will support that person,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Oh, yeah. Yeah. One day at a time. If you see
Sure.
the big picture, it's scary.
That's because we need more people.
Yeah, that's it.
We just need more people, you know, because
Yeah,
if we
definitely.
get like,
Yeah.
I don't know, how many of us are there now? 5 or something?
Four.
Okay.
Yeah,
As of
sir.
today.
4 board members, 2 support members.
Yes.
So if we recruit 4 more people, like, then, you know, Joanne and somebody else can do the vice president / whatever it is, you know,
Mhm.
people can spread the work around. It's manageable when there's more people.
Yeah.
I see Elaine has her hand up. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let us
I
know.
think Linda hasn't had a chance to speak though yet.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Linda Van Inwichen, in case you didn't know me. For the past number of years, I have been the board member responsible for marketing, branding, and graphics. I created logos, newsletter designs, posters, annual schedule, and I also chose the speakers who have taught and inspired us. And I'm hoping that I've had enough diversity and inclusion in that group, because I try to work on that. And it's been difficult to pick up after where we left off during the pandemic. And so it's just been like many other organizations, lack of volunteers, lack of funding, lack of everything. So we ask you to please help out if you've enjoyed our programming and take pride in the work of the Art Society.
Yep.
Please pay your dues, consider a donation, and volunteer. And that's it. We have a few questions for after. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, people. Well, I have some negative thoughts, unfortunately. There is such lethargy amongst the members that I'm even shocked that there are not more people present here at this meeting. You would think that our members, and thank you for being here, that's wonderful. You would think that members would want to know what's going on after this big banner was placed on the website that there is a possibility of us closing down. But I found over the years, presentations, for instance, you're lucky if you got 15 people present, 12. This is horrible. Even our first in-person presenter, Gloria Bass, who's absolutely does wonderful work. There were 7 people at the Atwater Library, including 2 technicians. I was absolutely shocked because I really thought that people would want to go, be there. I think there were a few online, maybe 5 or 7 people. This is horrible. So
Can I just answer you for a second, Elaine, on the subject of participation? One of the things that was happening during the pandemic that maybe you guys didn't know is that it's true. The attendance on the live events was low. Less low when people were at home. This last year low, but when we were posting the videos after the fact, we were getting about 600 views of video. So it was clear, unique views, I should say, not 600. So that means that people were watching and sharing to their friends and coming back. And there was more than that. People would come back and you could, because a website does give you metrics. So I think it's possible that what we're seeing is less of a participation in live events and more of a model of people wanting to consume it when they have time and when it's convenient for them. So that's something to consider when you're going forward. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody had all of the full picture there.
Right, I forgot about that, but
Can I say something about that?
why
it's
bother
kind of
live event?
demoralizing. Sorry, it's kind of demoralizing when you engage a speaker and you know it's like just like a fantastic person, and hardly anyone shows up. I mean, even if 600 people watch later, it's just demoralizing, you know?
Absolutely.
Sure, you
But
might
I-
consider switching it from a live lecture model to just when you're booking them, just saying to them, what we're actually doing is a recording. And we're just gonna share the recording. I mean, just a thought. I mean, there are ways to sort of like set the
Why-
expectations too, where people are less depressed going, oh my God,
Well-
only 7 people showed up.
Yeah.
I would go the other way. Forget the recordings, have just live events. Maybe people will start going. I know we don't have money for this. It's
No,
it's
very
something.
expensive.
It's also
that-
that
we
our
did
That is
membership,
the challenge. That is the
We never
challenge.
had
is-
Zoom.
Yeah.
it's also that our membership though, at this point, post-pandemic, is spread all across the country. So I don't know that you would ever get the same turnout as there used to be like 4 years ago when it was Montreal centric only. I'm
Okay.
not sure about that. You'd have to try.
The other thing, I lost my train of thought. A lot of members just join for the art show. That's all they're interested in.
Yep.
Which is kind of sad because WASM has a lot more to offer than the art show is important, of course, big thing, but maybe having more art shows, even online ones. Because those people who are out of the province or too far can participate, no problem. That's it's a lot of organization for someone, but yeah.
Yeah, we would have to balance the fees that are coming in against what it's costing to rent a place. It's very expensive. Like for this art show, it's over 3,000
Well,
for
yeah,
10 days.
exactly, and it's pretty good. So hopefully some money will be generated from that. But online art shows doesn't cost much. You still ask a little contribution from participants.
If you made what if there's organizations that are all set up for online art shows like Galea and places like that?
Oh, lots.
They're set up. Okay. So how about instead of reinventing the wheel, like we could have alliances or cooperation with organizations that are already set up. Like they already do it. So let's say you chose, I don't know, there's a lot of them, say Galea, you decide you're having a collaboration with them for an online art show. You just say, okay, well, we would like you to organize like from time A to time B, like an online art show for the members of our organization. And then figure out, who gets paid for what. But I'm sure it wouldn't cost the thousands of dollars that an art gallery costs. I mean, it is fun to have an art exhibit in person, but it would be an extra option.
I'm just sorry.
You can do it yourself.
Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna. I don't want to crush the discussion because it's a really good discussion, but at the same time, I just want to make sure my OCD here. I'm just want to make sure things flow. If you guys can hang on, if we can just get the nominations for the board positions, I'm going to call for that now. So then we can continue this great discussion once we have some nominations in place. If you guys don't mind, and then I'm so sorry, Elaine will come back. We'll come back to the discussion.
I'll forget.
Yeah, it's I just and if you have something to say, just raise your hand. So then I see everyone, I think, in terms of screen wise, just so that to keep things in an orderly fashion. Sorry, I used to be a teacher, so so you can kind of tell by the so I'm going to park these questions for the moment. Okay, and if everyone is all right, I'm going to ask for nominations, if there's any nominations for any of the positions come up. Oh, actually, before the nominations, just want to confirm Joanne as our vice president. Is there any concern? I have no concern with absolutely phenomenal. I think Joanne, it looks like it's unanimous.
Okay.
So for that. So we'll confirm Joanne as our VP. Okay, for that. Elaine, okay, and in her current position. Any questions to Elaine in her current position?
You mean me? I don't really, I'm just do the blog.
Sorry?
Yeah, you
I'm-
don't need to vote for Elaine. She's not a board member. She's a
I'm
support
not a
staff. It's
board,
just
I'm not a
Linda.
board member.
Oh, sorry. I mean, Linda. I'm sorry. Sorry. I had Elaine on my mind. It's Linda. If we can confirm Linda.
Yeah,
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Marie-José in her position.
yeah.
Thank you very much. And myself. I
You
like
don't need to renew. You got
For
voted in last
sure.
year. Your term is
Well,
4
that's
years.
good to know. So
Your term is 4 years. You're still technically okay for 3 more years.
sounds good. So, all right. So with that being said, we have that out of the way. Thank you very much, everyone, for doing this. So now we're going to open up for nominations. Okay, for the available board positions. If Miranda, if you don't mind, or someone, or Angela, actually, if you don't mind sharing the screen of the available board positions. It would
Yeah, I'll
help
do it. Hang on a
us,
sec.
if you don't mind.
Jan, can you check Lily's card inside the thing? I lost my card.
Okay.
Do you want me to just call them one at a time? So does anybody want to step forward as president?
No.
I can't actually see the screen, so somebody else has to monitor the answers here. So as I'm sharing, I can't see the responses. Okay. Treasurer. Art show chairperson. Hospitality chairperson.
No.
Charity events. Communications. Fundraising. The rest of these positions are not board positions. So these are sort of more informal of when you have time to contribute if you have less time. And also I would like to add that, of course, like on the spot like this, maybe you need some time to think about it. So I invite you to come to the board of directors page after the fact and look at the position descriptions. They were prepared by our former secretary, who was very, very meticulous about doing professional documents. I suggest that if you're interested in any part of these roles, speak to Joanne, Marlene, Linda, or Marie-José. Maybe they would be willing to take some help rather than the full position. I would suggest give it some thought. And if you think you can step forward, that's great. Marlene, do you want to leave open a question, or Joanne, do you want to leave open a question and answer period now, as we had promised?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So just for those of you who are new to Zoom, if you unmute yourself, the Zoom will put you in the order of which you are unmuted. And somebody should call on you. Do you want me to manage who is unmuted since I can see it? Guys? Yes?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do that, guys, for you guys. Okay, so at the moment, so I'll give you 1 minute to please unmute yourselves in order. If you have a question. Okay, Linda, you had a question?
No, Elaine had a question.
Well, Linda
I
hasn't
think
muted herself.
Linda is muted.
Oh, okay, she just remuted herself. Was that a
sorry.
mistake? No, okay.
Sorry. Okay, instead of prizes for the art show, where it probably can only be a token prize at this point, how about just a certificate? I mean, isn't that what people want
Yeah.
anyway? The
That's
knowledge.
what I was thinking.
Yeah. And by the way, the last 2 lectures have been canceled, which is Kim Richardson and Jennifer. They're canceled already.
Oh, okay, so that reduces that
Yeah.
spend to 600 then.
Yeah, and another question, do we stand to make any money from the art show? I mean, is that sort of up in the air? Is that?
We
We
have
never-
a big, sorry, we have a big bill to pay,
Mm,
2,600.
okay.
That's gonna be a big chunk taken out of the whatever money we have.
Okay. And
I can, you mean against all the submissions that came in? Is that what you mean?
well, just how it's set up. I mean, is it possible that money's coming in that we could,
Mm.
you know?
If we sell paintings, WASM keeps 20%, but honestly, art sales across Montreal have been very, very low in the
Yeah.
last 3 years. And the more expensive the painting is, the less it sells. So it tends to be smaller things that sell anyway.
Mhm.
So it's sort of hard to say. It's not something you really want to factor in because it's unpredictable. Maybe is the answer.
Mhm. Okay. That's it.
Okay, I think Sharon, you were next.
Thank you very much for what you've done over the 5 years, Miranda. I know none of us can even appreciate how much you've done, but I can appreciate a small amount of what you've done. But I guess I'm hearing you calling for help, and I'm also sort of saying like, wow, I don't think anyone is going to be able to jump in right away. I can help a little, but I can help only in a partial way. So you can put my name down. Maybe one of the ladies could contact me, but
Thank you,
I
Sharon.
can't see I'm going to take a position. And you may go better with people doing volunteering some, simple things, one little thing. I think part of what it is, I'm busy in another organization, and my commitment there is I can't jeopardize that either. So, but I'm willing to do a little bit of help, and I think everybody, if they could just volunteer for 2 hours a week or something, maybe if you make it that kind of a question, because it's overwhelming for us to say yes. Oh, of course, I'm going to become president. Anyway, just my little thought.
Thank you, Sharon. You know what? We'll take it. You know what? There's no such thing as a little help. Any help is all good help. So you know what? We'll take it, and we can talk offline. My email. I'll if you see if I don't know if Angela can post up the email in the chat. Okay, the WASM emails in the chat, or just simply, you know what, just simply write into the WASM website, like the info box, right? All eyes are on it. And so we definitely can talk offline and see where it is. But you know what, much appreciated. Thank you so much. In all honesty, I really do believe we can get this through. This is just a little, a few bumps in the road.
Many bumps together.
We can write, it makes it all the more interesting. So
Thank you,
right.
Sharon. Thank you guys for that. I mean, yeah, the other under the board of directors, you will also find each board member's email. I also encourage Angela to note down the names of anybody who's willing to volunteer. And that way we can preemptively reach out to you guys to get in contact with each other. My suggestion. Of course, you guys do what you want now. I think Ruth, you're next.
Okay. As Sharon mentioned, I really appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. I'm sorry that I can't be much help. I just really wanted to know, how does one make a donation?
At this point, the easiest way is to go online. We're going to set up a donation button. I believe that there is one already. It's just not very obvious. It's in the donation page. So I think, Angela, after this meeting, if you can just move it to the front page of the website, I think that will be easier so people can find it immediately. It should be on the donation page.
And if you're not able to find it, just send us an email, let us know, and we'll get coordinated. We'll find a way to get that donation up and going for you. Okay, so well, in terms of that, so please do not please do not feel that, oh, I have a question or not sure. Just let us know, okay, and we'll find a way to get it from you.
Note, Marlene, when somebody makes a donation, because we are a charity, we can give them a tax receipt.
Yeah.
So make sure to capture their information. You need their name, their phone number, and at least either an email or a physical address to be able to emit the receipt and to keep a record. So you can do that. And so that means that, by the way, any donations you guys do is tax deductible, if that helps.
It's good to know. Well, I really hope that that you can find more people to help out. I hope there are some younger people, younger than myself, I mean, not you, who will be able to step up and help out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Ruth. Deanne?
Well, I just want to say that Joanne has been a terrific art exhibition chairperson. I vacated the position as of this time. I've been on board to help her, but I will never take over the chairpersonship again. But I'm willing to help. I don't know, Joanne, as vice president after this year, are you vacating that position of art exhibition chairperson?
We'll see. If anybody wants to take over, I can help them take over some of the daily job of handling the submissions and replying to the members. Yes, I got your submission. And it's a very time-consuming thing.
Yeah, it is.
And then we'll see. We'll see. I can be there to help them a little bit. And yeah, they can take part of the job at least. If we're still on for next year, I don't know about the square foot show in March next year, if there will be one. We'll see about that. Somebody could take charge of that, and we could help her or him. And yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you for your help, Deanne. Whatever you do is very, very much appreciated.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I'm on board this year to be the
Yes.
helper. And
Well,
we
you've
got-
already started.
Yeah,
you've
we got
already
a crew
started.
too.
Yeah.
It's the same crew. We got the same crew this year as we had last year.
Last year, yeah.
Maybe that will continue.
So things will go very smoothly with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because they know what to do. Perfect.
Mhm.
I just have to recruit some people to help with the hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year it was my husband, but my husband is way too old to do anything this year. And there's the technician at the Gora Gallery, but he's pretty old himself. And if there's any artwork that is slightly heavy, well, we have a hard time. So I'll try to recruit some younger people to help out. Maybe the volunteers, Angela, that you've recruited, maybe they could come and help. So we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Really, it's very heartwarming to see people stepping up here. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hélène Montpetit.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I'm found out recently I'm Joanne's neighbor.
Oh, hello Hélène,
Ah.
bonjour.
Faudrait qu'on aille prendre un café à un moment donné.
Oui, ça me ferait plaisir.
I just joined this year and this is my first AGA and I'm a little bit taken aback because I had no idea that the situation was as dire as it appears to be. It's a little bit scary and disappointing, really. But that said, okay, I have a specific question, which is how much money is coming in? That's my first question from your membership and from the art exhibition, people who pay to submit to be part of art exhibition. How much money are we talking?
Well, at this point, just to answer that question specifically, we don't know. The treasurer has, we know that the people who have entered the art show now have all paid their membership and that they've all paid their hanging fees. So the money that you see currently is all the money that we currently have.
I'm sorry, did you say have not paid?
Have.
Oh, they have. Okay, so
everyone
people have
has,
caught up with that.
all
Okay.
the people in the art show are up to date.
So are
at
we
this
looking
point.
at like $5,000?
The money that you see is all the money that we have. That is it. Everything, that $3,000,
Oui, mais c'est pas ma question, là, Miranda.
il rentre plus d'argent. C'est tout.
No, my question is, in a year,
Yeah.
how much do you get from,
Yeah.
you have now 300 members.
Yes, but not all, as I
Abonnez-
was, right, okay, let me answer that question again. There is a difference, and I'm sorry, we did publish this in a newsletter a while ago, a few months ago. We have two statuses of members, as was decided during the pandemic. Members in good standing, that means all of their fees are up to date.
Yeah.
And members who are members but are not in good standing. And we decided at that time that we were not going to require payment in order for people to consider themselves a member. In other words, to continue to receive the newsletter, to continue to view anything on our website, to continue to follow the blog. We were not going to enforce payment of the membership because we were faced with many people who could not afford it. So to answer your question, we don't actually know. It is when people can afford to pay and feel like they can pay, they do pay. This year, and I do not have a number for you as to how many people paid last year, because unfortunately, the treasurer never brought the books up to date. So I don't actually have a number for you. It's $65 a member. If everybody paid, we would still be needing money, but we would be in much better shape. I believe that at this point, 72 members overall have paid this year, and that is all. And 60 of them are in the art show, I think. 50 something are in the
50
are in the art show. So 50 are in the art show, and probably all 20 of the people who are here, I suspect. You know, maybe there's some overlap.
Wait a minute,
So,
Miranda,
yeah.
What do you mean? Are these new fees, like for this new upcoming season?
No, for the current past season.
For this one.
2 people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
out of 350, only 72 have paid. There's nobody there to
Well, that's
kind
ridiculous.
of call and do collections, and because we decided 3 years ago as the board that we were not going to enforce it because of the situation with the pandemic. Even if we collected from every single member, that would still bring us to about $16,000, I think, a year. And yes, it's fine to cover the basics, but it's still not enough to run the organization and pay people.
So that was my second question.
Wow.
That was my second question. How much does WASM need a year to run smoothly?
In an ideal world, what we had decided at the AGM last year was that for the first year, we could operate on about $75,000 to run all of the programs, to pay professional people to do educational programs, I came out to 74 something when we did the addition, like 74,000 and something. So
That's
for the first
huge.
year, yeah, but it's not, but it isn't unheard of. If you look at ELAN, for example, the English Language Arts Network, they started as a model. They started 10 years ago, but they started as a model just like us. They had a membership where they were making $3,000, $4,000 a year, and they shifted to a government subsidized model. In the second year, they made some, like in the second year after they started their fundraising, they reached their target of 75,000. By their third year, they were at 300,000, and today they're at $3.5 million in funds. That's where the organization should go. Other people have done it.
But we can't do it
not
alone.
If other people are already doing it, then you're in competition with people who've, Elan is very well known.
Yes, because they've been at it for 10 years, but it's not a mystery as to how they did it. It just requires a little bit of follow through and to continue to try to find a combination of fundraising internally, fundraising externally, contacts, and somebody to do this work. That's all. It's not an impossible model to follow. Like it's not just Elan. I'm using them because I figure that most people here know them.
Art Etc. as well.
Yeah.
Which is quite well known and very popular at least in the French sector.
Yeah.
So I basically, here I am, I'm willing to help, but I kind of, it's confusing to me because I'm going to use an Astérix métaphore. Vous êtes tombé dedans quand vous étiez petite. So you all know what's required and everything else, but I come in completely cold and I'm going, wait a second, what's happening? Why is this not working? It's one thing to say, okay, I want the members to be educated, but do the members want to be educated? What is it? Why do people join WASM in the first place? And if they're not participating, why is that? Because you can't solve a problem if you don't know what exactly the source of it is.
I would highly recommend, so 3 years ago, we did do a survey about what
Okay.
members wanted and what members were interested in. I say 3 years ago, I think it was actually 4 maybe at this point. It was basically just pre the pandemic, like maybe 3 months before the pandemic hit. But we were asking people, what did they want out of WASM? What did they want out of the lectures? Were the lectures worthwhile to them, and so on? At that time, people had said, yes, the lectures are very worthwhile. I love to be able to have my one-on-one time with other artists and see how they got there. And the main thing was to see how they made it and how they were successful, because you know, Linda's done an amazing job of finding prestigious artists to come and talk. And it's a kind of a one-on-one opportunity that a lot of people didn't have. That was what they wanted out of the lectures. And then they also said, yes, the art show is very important, getting a platform, because when you're an artist in Montreal, one of the things that is on the list of criteria, because not only do organizations depend on public funding here, but individual artists depend a lot on public funding. Those who have made it as professional artists are doing so also by government submissions. And in order to qualify for some of these grants, people have to have a list of criteria, and amongst which is has shown in a professional show with their peers. That's one of the main criteria. If you don't have that, you don't qualify. So in a sense, joining WASM and being in a show that is a professional level show with their peers qualifies them for grants that they would not otherwise be able to get. Then third on the list of things that they wanted at that time was information on how to progress their career. So they were very interested in the educational aspect of the program. And in fact, actually Sharon helped to develop this, and we just haven't had the time, but hopefully Marie-Josée will be able to pick up with that and move forward, is building your CV, building your persona, building confidence. Because one of the problems that we did discover amongst our members was that we have women doing incredible art and then hiding in the basement because they're like, oh, it's just my art. Nobody will ever want to see that. So that was at that time. However, for those of you who are here, I would encourage you perhaps to do another survey and see if things have changed. Because this year has been a weird year for everyone, right? So maybe priorities have changed. I don't know.
I'm in the process of doing a market study because I'm taking a course on launching a visual arts business. And the pandemic has changed everything. So when you're saying nobody shows up at live conferences anymore, Miranda is absolutely correct. People want to see stuff online when they're ready and willing to do it. And people want everything for free now.
Yeah, they do.
No, so like if you have to pay for anything, you know, it's really, you have to anyhow.
Yep.
So I guess to make a long story short, never come to me. But what I'm trying to say is I'd be willing to help. I worked in communications for business association, l'Association québécoise de la production d'énergie renouvelable. Like a few of you here, I'm perfectly bilingual, so I can translate. One of the things I notice is there's not much French in the WASM, and I think that is due to change. So, but I think maybe if Joanne and I can get together for a cup of coffee, we can talk about my skills. Because the other thing that's not clear from this meeting is, what are your priorities? Like, who do you need to step up first? And how do you think you're going to be able to recruit them and retain them? Because that's all really important stuff.
Wait, we need, I think we need a president, we need a treasurer, like at least from that point, in terms of, you know, to get us to that. It's a perfect storm. In all honesty, our treasurer wasn't able to fulfill their, you know, their obligations, and, you know, understand that president, like in terms of to help Joanne, to help me, to help Linda, to help Marie-Josée, just to kind of help bring us up to a how you say, a place where we can breathe, assess, right, and do a post-mortem as to what is needed to go forward to correct the situation. We definitely need an internal audit, right, in terms of you know where things are for that, and we're obliged with the charity number. We're obliged to have that in place. You know, we need an accountant, you know, to be able to assist. We hear you, we hear you, and it's just one of those things where it's a, you know, honestly a perfect storm. I think with COVID, with people, you know, in their, it's a volunteer position. So whoever we, you know, had come on, we can't force them to stay there, right? We can't force them to, you know, we trust if they're in that position, we trust that they do their obligations, right? Because we have our own departments to look at, right? But at the same time, if they can't fulfill it, and you know they are not able to be in that position anymore, then we got to take that on. And I think that's where it's kind of a little bit frustrating for us, because we want to take it forward, we want to get that fundraising up and going, but due to the turnaround of the people coming on,
Yeah.
it's you know,
Yeah.
it's disheartening. It's disheartening for us because we're so close, right? We're so close, and we ourselves are kind of like taken aback, in all honesty. I hear you, Helen, because we're you know,
I'm kind of reminded, Marlene, of like going to help my mom with the Easter dinner, you know. Oh, I'm always doing everything by myself and nobody shows up to help. So you show up and you say, what can I do? Just get out of my kitchen.
yes, we need you.
That's not what they're, I don't think that's what they're
basically-
saying. I think what they're saying, Elena, is that they don't themselves know. And I think that's kind of the issue here, is that a reassessment does have to be done.
Yeah, I
So,
think you, I know, I didn't express myself well when I said get out of my kitchen. I'm not hearing you want people to get out of your kitchen.
No.
What I'm hearing is we need help.
Yes.
Where now?
Yes, exactly.
Last
Exactly.
week. That's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing. But someone who's coming in now saying, okay, I'd like to help.
Yeah.
Where should we start? It
Yeah.
would be good if the 4 people who are still have the wherewithal to stick
Hanging on.
around after all this, if you could figure out, okay, like just hearing you right off, I'm thinking the first thing you need is a person who will recruit, like a volunteer coordinator.
Yeah.
Will recruit and find a way to get people interested and to keep them interested in sustaining whatever it is they're doing to help you. That's the first thing you need.
I agree.
You know, and after that, up to you guys to figure out the first thing we need the first person we want that person to find is an accountant or you know, something else, whatever. But that would be helpful, like for someone just walking in now with fresh eyes and all kinds of expectations and whatnot. That's what I'm seeing. So hopefully I'll be able to chat maybe with Joanne.
Yep, sure. We'll get together.
Yeah. Okay.
Great
Thank you very
suggestions.
much for
Thank you, Hélène. Good point.
putting up with all my.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you.
I mean, listen, this is what everybody's here for. So I actually think that's wonderful. Like you're coming with ideas and solutions. I think that's perfect.
I think
Elaine, did you have something to add? Elaine?
Okay, you were speaking about Elan. Elan.
Yeah,
In the
Elan,
event
yeah.
we have to close, would it be possible to get more integrated with Elan and keep it ourselves running through them? At least we'll have something. Okay,
If
that's
you were
what.
going to integrate with anyone, my suggestion would be, so you guys should know, we did announce, but in case some people missed it, we do have current existing partnerships with other women's groups, 2 of them, in fact. The Women's Canadian Council of Montreal, speaking of which, Marie-Josée, they're a good group to tap for mental health initiatives.
I'm going to write that down. What's the name?
The Women's Canadian Council of Montreal, WCCM. Their president, Kim Kavanagh, is actually in her private life a fundraiser for mental health issues. That's what she does.
Okay, so Women's Canadian
Club of Montreal.
Club of
And I
Montreal.
think their website is wccm.org or something like that.
Okay.
Or wccmtl.org, something along those lines. But anyway, we have partnership links to them.
Okay.
And the other one that we are connected to is the Montreal Council of Women. Of course, we've been a federate member for a long time. You might consider asking them for help and resources and so on. Those are people we're already connected to. Let me just finish. The last thing you might look at in terms of partnerships, there's an organization called La Guilde. And speaking of integrating with the French, the La Guilde is actually our sister organization back from the time of our founding. We actually had the exact same founders. In 1907, they split up and they were at that time the Handicrafts Guild. And since 1907, the organizations have been separate. But if you are thinking of joining up, they have a beautiful building on the corner of Crescent. They are fully funded. So if you were thinking of reintegrating with somebody else, you might consider making overtures to them, because it would basically be like going back to the original fold. If that is something you wanted to do and were interested in, or partnerships with them. Sorry, Elaine. I just wanted to give you guys a few ideas.
So there's a nice exhibit there right now about even mentioning the
Awesome,
Art
yeah,
Society.
yeah, I had it on a blog, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, I'm not a member of ELAN, but I get their newsletter anyway. And there's nothing about WASM on in their newsletters.
We're not partnered
This
with
is
them.
insane.
We're not partnered with them at this moment.
Oh.
But Elan was only an example because they had actually come and approached me a while back personally to go and work for them. It didn't work out, but it's only because of that I actually opened the discussion of how they did their funding, and they were actually very forthcoming and very generous with their information. So this is why I'm saying it's not black magic. If they can do it, we can do it too. It's just that it requires time, and they got started a lot sooner. That's
okay. The other thing, as far as first of all, Joanne and myself, our WASM emails don't work. Joanne, did you fix it?
You're gonna take that offline with Angela. She'll help you out, okay? You can authenticate without having a smartphone. She'll solve your technical problems for you. You don't need a smartphone. You just need a walkthrough. So Angela will help you out. Please contact her and do that.
Oh, okay, good. All right. The other thing, the website, in the event we do close, what are you going to do about the website? I think I asked you that before, Miranda.
You did. Google, as far as I know, does no longer host a free website, so I don't know. I think that will be up to the new team to decide what you want to do with that. The archives and documents, though, are already stored on a free service because we're a charity. Microsoft gives us the suite for free, so we're not going to lose any documents. We might lose the website if there is no one to pay for it, but I mean, it is $35 a month. It's not like it's
entirely free. Yeah. Okay.
I think Sharon has a question.
Yes, Sharon had her hand up, but Marie-Josée was unmuted first. If that's okay, let's do Marie-Josée.
Oh, okay. No, I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, Linda, did you have something else?
Well, earlier on, I was just going to say that, you were right about having a whole reassessment of, what kind of organization would continue, and just have a clear raison d'etre of, what it is and what it's going to be and what our focus is. I think that would be better, like maybe fewer lectures, fewer newsletters, a lot fewer newsletters. So it's not a full-time job for somebody, things like that. See where we go from there.
Yep, TBD. I mean, I suggested maybe you guys want to call another meeting with anyone who was interested and just discuss these ideas, perhaps.
Yeah.
Sharon, did you have something else to add?
Yeah, I have questions and suggestions. I do take notes because I know about you never remember what you're supposed to say. I would suggest that maybe what you could ask at this meeting, who would like to be involved in the hanging party for the show. So you get people right now it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Annette and I had, and Jackie Ray, for example, is an excellent hanger. We've done it for years and years. And it's fun, and especially if it's on a party thing where there's, it's a set thing that you do on one day from this day to this day. I think people can probably commit to something like that. That's my first suggestion. 2, do we not have a partnership with Atwater Library? No? Okay, I thought we did. And I guess one of the things, as far as should we have to worry about our records, having gone through that with WASM on the board many years ago, the McCord Museum probably would be a partner to look into and explore so that nothing is left.
Last we heard about it, they told us they're no longer accepting records of any kind, which is why we ended up moving to OneDrive and SharePoint. So SharePoint, for those of you who are not that technical with, is a service offered by Microsoft. It's a sort of part of what they call the Office 365 suite. So when you subscribe to like Microsoft Word and all of those things, there's a space called SharePoint that is a document storage space. And Holly, our previous secretary, set all of that up before she left. And Tony had managed a big chunk of that as well when she was here. It is, all of our stuff is archived, it's safe, and it's stored with Microsoft. So we don't really have to worry about archival stuff going missing. It's more the day-to-day communications of the website that's the ongoing problem.
Okay. And I guess the last thing I wanted to say was, this has been going on, this association's been going on for, as you said, almost 130 years. And I just, having put at least 5 or 6 years of time into this association, and many of you have put even more, I just can't see it going down the drain. And I really hope that people would leave their names, and you know, at least even if it's a small project like the hanging group, and then that way we'll get a chance to see what the executive, because we don't know all your executive. We know Miranda, and Elaine, but we don't know all the other people. And that way we could see what a fun gang you happen to be to work with. I think that making something very distinct and specific will get you more people than just saying, who wants to be president?
True.
I'll get back to you, Sharon, for the hanging crew.
You don't want to call for volunteers here in the meeting, Joanne?
Sure, but you've already mentioned 3 names. That's enough. I'll be there, and with 3 more people, we're okay. There's the technician from the gallery, and we cannot be too many people also.
I'm suggesting you do it in a way that it doesn't, like, you get more people, because people need to get a feel of you guys. You're probably very nice people and fun to be with, but if you have something concrete, one event at one time for X number of hours, I think you'll get more people than if you, anyway, that's my suggestion.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I think what Joanne is saying is I think the gallery doesn't allow that many, but Sharon makes a good point.
No, it's not the point. They're particular about the hanging. The owner of the gallery sets up what he wants, where he wants it, and then each we have to go each and place it exactly at the right place, hang it in. If we're 5 people, 3 of them are not going to be working, and we go from one to the other, and they're, you know, they have to make it, they want to make it like it's the distance between the artwork has to be so much, and they have to be in line. They're very particular. So that's the point, you know. But there's the technician that they have, he's in charge, and we have to follow.
Okay.
Usually in the morning, the first morning, the owner at the gallery has placed all the paintings that he wants for the first look when we come in. He's set up everything. So we have to go from there and then to another room and then to another wall. It's a bit of a, you know, structured process. It's not just we hang everything here and there.
Right.
So that's the point.
So, okay, I understand. I think I understand as a member. I think, I'm not participating in the air show this year, but I will next year if there is one. Having said that, I think Sharon's point is having an in-person event. It's true that we used to have meet and greets before the pandemic, where it was a very good place to meet people, recruit, and whatever. So it's an interesting point to just have something in person where people can get to know the board. She's right. Recruiting in person with people who know you is always more effective. Just as adding my 2 cents from my personal opinion. Sorry, Jackie, did you unmute yourself? Jackie, did you have something to add? No, maybe not. Okay, at this point, the people who are unmuted are still the same ones. Marie-Josée, did you have something else? Do you remember what it was you wanted to say, or?
Well, I thought like when we do any kind of recruiting, and like if there would be like a place people put their name and they say, well, how much time are you available for? You know, like we could put the top areas that we need help, but if maybe people say like an hour, 2 hours a week, I'm good for that. I can help you. Okay, and then you have a pool of people and you can say, okay, well, you know, for the art show, we need X number of people. For this project, we need X number of people to do various things, you know, and in your pool of people, you can say, okay, for next month or something, we need this number of people to do a particular project. I don't know if that would work or not. I don't know, because sometimes with volunteers, I know I used to be a school secretary a long time ago, and part of my job was to get people to volunteer for the school because there's never enough people to do everything that needs doing. And we used to say, okay, well, we need like, I don't know, buddy moms to call people from time A to time B in the morning. Can you do it for one morning a week or whatever? And people didn't mind doing that. But if you just put like a title for a job, people are like, oh no, I don't have time for another job.
Yeah, I think that's what Ellen was saying. She
Well,
just
too
typed
much,
into
you
the,
know?
she just typed into the chat what Marie-Josée is describing is what a volunteer coordinator does, is what she's saying. So
Yeah, volunteer
maybe her
coordinator.
point is correct. Maybe what you want first is the volunteer coordinator.
A coordinator, so that the people who, you know, when people like there's a place or a contact, and then they say, okay, what is it like? Okay, you need this title. Well, what's involved in that? Like people have no idea, you know, and they're afraid because, you know, they've got other things going on, or they just don't want to do that much, or maybe the skill set that's required is theirs, you know, like some of the jobs need specific skill sets, like a treasurer, you know.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Brita is I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing Birta, is saying also, Joanne, that she's available if you need her for hanging or anything else, I guess, for the art show. Maybe you want
Okay.
somebody else for the second day for the like covering up. I don't know if you're still doing judging, but covering up the names, doing whatever. Anyway, up to you.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we if we can get at least another judge. Because you were talking about one, Gwendolyn Owens or something.
Yeah.
That it's still an if, but we'll see. But if we can have two of them,
yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know what we're gonna do. It's gonna be no jury, no judging.
Jackie Wolowski also says she can help with the hanging. She said in the so you can take that. Yeah.
I'm taking notes of all these names.
Yeah, that's good.
Watch
Thank
out!
you.
I'm gonna
Thank you.
call you guys.
Yeah, careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
No, okay, I guess I think that's it. I think everybody who is unmuted has had an opportunity. So I don't have I think I don't need to manage the chat anymore. So I hand it over now to the new board and let you guys do your closing remarks.
It was a very fruitful discussion. We have good ideas, and it's a little bit more encouraging than when we started. That's all I want to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciate. We will be contacting you.
Yes. Yes.
Angela and the rest of the board, if you just want to hang out one more minute, because I do have some stuff to give you as information.
I think Elaine
will leave. Oh,
Thank you
Elaine,
very
did you
much.
have a
Thank you
question?
very much
Elaine
for,
is,
for your transparency in holding this meeting and everything else. So hopefully I'll get to
you have good ideas, Hélène.
get
Come
to
and
know
Yes.
a few of you.
I'll get
Thank
in
you.
touch with you, Hélène.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ellen.
sure.
viens nous aider là.
Thank you,
On en a
Hélène.
besoin.
Oui,
Merci,
on a besoin de monde comme toi, là, avec de
Ouais,
bonnes
vraiment.
idées.
Oui.
Surtout que Miranda s'en va. On a besoin de bonnes idées. Okay.
You're welcome, Patricia. It's my pleasure.
Okay.
All the best, ladies. You know.
Yeah, all
what
the
you're
best for
doing.
you too. All the
Thank you,
best for
Sharon.
you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, everybody. And Miranda, you've done an amazing job.
Well,
Oh,
thanks. Listen, I mean,
Absolutely.
I think Helen's point is correct. The
Wow.
model needs to change at this point. Nothing is the same after the
No.
pandemic. It just
Yeah.
isn't.
And
Yeah,
for the board members, I will arrange for a meeting. Let me know in terms of, and I'll put an email out. Let me know, because there's us that remains. Let me know what is a good time for you guys. All right. I'll reach out. Joanne and I will definitely discuss. We'll definitely set up, but we will need to have a follow-up meeting to exactly that, to assess in terms of the situation, what to go forward. And definitely Hélène had some really great
yeah, I'll
insight
get in
there.
touch with her. She lives right here next to my house.
That's good.
Cafe.
I'll invite myself for coffee.
That is convenient. Ladies, just so you